talked to you detail for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, I'm almost through divorce care, the class. I think, did I tell you I signed up for that? I think so. Yeah. So this Wednesday is the last session, and it was good. It was really good. And it was good to be around other people who are going through the same thing that I am.
Uh-huh.
Especially, and we had two small groups, and one in my group there were two guys, and I don't know how to describe. They were men, like and men who had been hurt by their wives, who cheated on them, you know. So just to kind of get their perspectives and what they're feeling and everything was interesting too. I
Uh-huh.
think everyone probably in the group was someone who had been hurt by someone else, in a divorce situation. So
Uh-huh.
I guess those are the ones that are really seeking the healing, because they're
Yeah.
the ones who are dealing with all the rejection and pain. So, but it was good. I don't know. I had kind of had I don't know when it was, probably a month, maybe a month and a half ago. I was going through, my son was here. Keenan came from Alaska and he
Oh,
stayed for
good.
2 weeks. Yeah, it was really good, except it just brought up some pain, I think, because he was spending time with Michael too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of hard for me to, I don't know, just kind of share them. And Shane came for a little bit too. And just of course that's fine, spend time with their father, but it just was hurt. It's hurtful to me, it's like this is our family and it's divided, so anyway, I think it was the night before Keenan left. I just got really emotional. I forget why, and I just cried in his arms, and I try not to, I'm not like your father did this to me. I'm just like, this is me and I'm hurting right now, just hug me,
Yeah.
so I cried a little bit, and then Audrey came over. And she said, Mom, she said, what's going on? And I said, Audrey, I said, I'm just grieving. I said, it's just a stage. She said, Mom, she said, I think you have every right to start seeing men.
Mm-hmm.
she said, I think you have every right. And I was like, Audrey, I'm married. She said, Mom, I think you have every right. She goes, what is the name of that app that your friend told you about? And I said, I told her, and she's like, she gets me on the app. She's like, I'm opening it right now. So she puts it on my phone. She puts my pictures in there. And I didn't even have time to write anything. She said, what's your favorite Bible verse? So I threw a Bible verse in and she put it up. So I got like 50 men
Wow.
liking me, which was interesting. But it's kind of weird the way the app works. They can like you, but then you look at their profile, and if you like them back, then you get to then they open it up for you to talk.
Right.
So there were just a couple of mutual likes, but there was this one guy it was interesting because you can say something. You have a 10-second thing you can say, and he sang. He said, "I sing," and he sang. I don't. I'll just sing it, but he's saying, "You are worthy of it all. You
Mm-hmm.
are worthy of it all." Just 10 seconds of it, and I thought that was pretty cool. And his stuff that he said, he's Pentecostal. He's like 60, and the stuff that he said, like there's just boxes for me, like if someone smokes, no way. If they have do marijuana, no way. Even for me, drinking is sort of up there. I know a lot of people drink, but for me, it just kind of scares me. So anyway, but he said he didn't drink either. So I've been talking to him. I don't know how you feel about that because I'm still married. But I feel like I'm not married. My husband hadn't
Well,
communicated.
tell me what the schedule is again. Is it finalized in February, did you say?
Well, honestly, Lisa, I've done nothing. I've just dragged my feet. Just I don't know why. I'm not because I don't think it's going to happen. I think I'm just I have to submit to him, and he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know like that I have a lawyer. He doesn't know that I know the steps, that I need to do. We
Okay.
haven't communicated on that level at all, other than last time we talked, second last time we talked, he told me he was going to initiate the divorce. And then he told Audrey that he couldn't initiate the divorce until February because in the state of Virginia, you have a minor in the house. You can't file until a year of separation. So he left February 17th of last year.
Okay.
So I have, I've talked to a lot of people, gotten a lot of counsel about the separation agreement. Do you know what that is? The separation agreement? Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it, but
So,
I don't know a lot about it.
yeah. So basically, it's just a document saying how you're going to divide everything. And then also how your spouse, if your spouse is going to support you, if your spouse is going to give you child support, spousal support,
Uh-huh.
that kind of thing. So it's sometimes called a property settlement agreement too. I think once it's a divorce, then it's called a property settlement agreement.
Okay.
But yeah, so when I met with a lawyer this summer, she told me, here are the bullet points for a separation agreement. She said, the ideal thing is for you and your husband to talk and come to an agreement. And then I write it up and then we file whenever the date comes to file. So I just haven't, I've written it up. I have it about done. I'm just kind of caught up a little bit with the spousal support because the lawyer told me she suggested I get $1,000 a month for spousal support. But Michael right now is giving me $1,000 a month, and he's also paying about $500 a month in my bills.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking of asking for $1,500 a month, and then maybe what I want to do is find out exactly how much the bills are that he's paying, like heating. I want to find out, and I did get a billing statement from the electric company, and I have to review that and see how much he's paying each month for that. Things like that, like I'll have to go on my own phone plan. I'll have to pay my own car insurance. I'll have to pay my own health insurance, which I can get through Liberty. Um, I don't know, just stuff like that. So I have to figure all that out. Kind of have a ballpark that it's probably about 500 a month. So I'm kind of leery about asking him for child support because Annabelle, in a year, she's going to be 18. A year and a couple months, she'll be 18. So I don't want to put my eggs in that basket. I'd rather ask for 1,500 in spousal support and nothing in child support, or ask for 1,500 in spousal support and child support. And then when he comes back, if he comes back and says no way, then I say, okay, then we can take out the child support.
Well, why would you not want to get child support? Do you feel like that gives him more control in her life or something?
No, it's just that I don't know how much money he has. Well, I mean, I kind of an idea of how much he's making a year, but I don't know how much. I don't know if that will. I don't know because that child support in the state of Virginia, according to the formula that the lawyer gave me, I think is going to be about $1,500 a month.
Uh-huh.
So that would mean that he pays me 3,000 a month. I don't
Uh-huh.
know if he has that one. I don't know if he has that
You
kind of
have
money.
no idea what his salary is?
I think he makes. We were trying to calculate it because the last tax, um, I have the tax forms from 2022, and it said that he made 115,000 a year. But since then, he's gotten a raise from to full professor, and I don't know how much it is. The jump is to full professor. I called someone, Pam Miller, because Doug Miller recently got that as well. But Pam said that it depends. She wouldn't tell me how much, and she said it really depends on a lot of factors individual to that person. So
Yeah.
she said it whatever Doug's rate. I said just tell me how much Doug got don't tell me how much he's making, but tell me what the raise was. And she said it wouldn't matter. She said because it
Uh,
depends on a lot of things. So he did text the family last summer whenever he was on our family chat. He's removed himself from that and said that he got a sizable raise whenever he moved from they pulled him from assistant to full professor.
Well, that's good. Just, what I would do, just because it's logical, I would think through what he paid for when he was around for Annabelle.
Well, I mean, food, clothing, I
Yeah.
mean, all the stuff that he's paying for me right now, like a warm house. He
Yeah.
pays for gas for me. He pays food, taxes. The taxes for the house I pay for through our mortgage, but property tax for the car. There's a hefty property tax in Virginia for vehicles.
Yeah.
Um, I have a list. I mean, I can read it to you
Well,
if you want.
no, that's okay. I just wonder what your lawyer suggests because my mind would be to always ask for more and then negotiate rather than
That's a,
not ask.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's what my
because the
therapist said
point,
too.
like when you're working, but you know, when my husband was teaching and so forth and had that income, and even when he was at DuPont, he was responsible for the bills for the kids too,
Hmm.
not just for me.
Yeah.
Before the Lord, I feel like he's still responsible to support Annabelle. I do.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
would definitely ask for something. And
Yeah.
the only reason I asked what it was, that would be a reasonable figure to come up with because this is what you've always paid for. So this is
Right.
your responsibility.
Yeah. Anytime like anything comes up for school for her, although I pay for her tuition, which is $800 a month, 850 a month.
A lot.
Yeah. And I've paid for that all the time, all along. Um,
Well, even that, it seems like he should pay for part of that.
yeah.
The thing is, whatever you settle on, it's going to be probably forever like that unless he retires. And even
Right.
if she is 18, I would think there's still some responsibility while she's single to help her.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be greedy.
So,
I wouldn't want to be greedy, but I would just want to make sure that he's helping with her to be
so
responsible.
it, and putting that in child support.
Mhm.
So, I mean, what I could do, what I have it as written right now is Michael pays Deborah $1,500 a month for spousal support, and he pays the Virginia calculation for whatever the formula is in Virginia for child support, which I think would be 1,500. Maybe it'll be more because his salary is probably more than I factored it in before.
Uh-huh.
It's like half his salary times 30% of mine or something. I don't know. It's some kind of a formula.
Well, that's the sort of thing that you have as a standard that you can present because you're not making that up. That's the state that
Right.
generates that figure, and that's what I would
Mm-hmm.
use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure. I bet your lawyer would say that as well.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as I was preparing to get on, uh, for whatever reason, just because we haven't talked for a while, I just, almost started crying for you because,
Mm-hmm.
you got to factor in the fact that he's like potentially ruined your life. And it's abusive, it's neglect,
Mm-hmm.
it's been partially probably because of unfaithfulness in his heart, even if he hasn't acted on it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
before the Lord, he needs to pay and there needs to be consequences because it's sin and it's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, how do you pay for a broken heart? No matter how much you asked, it's not going to be enough anyway
Mm-hmm.
because your family is now going to be broken.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless if you meet a wonderful Christian man, that's always going to be the case. And I don't want to be like doom and gloom, but it's like that is the emotional side of things for the experience that you've had to walk through as a
Mm-hmm.
result, like we talked about in Bible study, of basically a rebellious attitude. He's just
Mm-hmm.
being rebellious. He's
Mm-hmm.
walked away from the Lord and you, and, seemingly gotten away with it as far as his work goes.
Yeah, I don't know. The last time he told me, last time we talked, it was in August, but he said nobody still knew. And often wondered how that can be, like because they had times when they invite the, wives to do things, and of course I'm never there. Does anybody ever ask? But it
Yeah.
was interesting. It was interesting today. I had a coworker, and we work remotely. Okay, so it's not the same, I know. But I had a coworker, and I've seen her probably a couple times in person too. And we were just talking about something that I learned recently about the Christmas lights. And I told her, I said, I don't know if you know this, but Michael and I are separated. And I told her the story and cried a little bit. But I thought, and she didn't know.
That's
And I
so
thought, I've been
crazy.
working with her this whole year and she didn't know. But I mean, how would she know? I guess. I mean, I don't wear my ring and I'm, always going like this, I just do that. But yeah,
Well, what's
so I don't
more
know.
weird to me is that his colleagues don't know because it's a
Oh, it's
Christian
face to face.
university. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't seem
I
to.
asked Pam recently, I said, we talked recently and I said, has there been anything? And she said, as far as I know, it's all still the same. Doug hasn't said anything different.
Ah,
So
that's
I
great.
don't know, whatever. It's whatever. I'm a little hurt by that just because one of their administrative assistant is a friend of mine, but it's weird that she hasn't contacted me and I haven't contacted her because if Michael's keeping it secret, I'm not going to be the one to blow it. Let somebody else blow it. And she's not
Well,
like that deep of a friend.
I remember the lawyer's point with that, and that is you don't want to
Yeah,
jeopardize the work because
right.
it's going to be benefiting you. Sorry, my cat is
Yeah,
going crazy.
yeah.
Um,
No,
that
mine was doing the same thing today.
that's the income that's going to be what you're pulling from, and it's
Mhm.
nice that he's made.
Right. Yeah, she said you don't want him fired.
Yeah, and I don't know what their policy is, but that's really it's one of those things that's more in his court, not yours, as far as what happened
Hmm.
there.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
don't
all
know. I
to
don't.
say, getting back to the original question, I definitely think you should ask for child support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Thursday off. It's really just final things I need to do on it, and I'm kind of scared to submit it because of that. Like, what if I don't ask for this thing, And then because we recently got some letters from the IRS. I was nervous to open mine, but it was basically Michael had taken a lot of money out of his retirement and invested it, and so that was considered income for that year.
Oh,
And it was, I don't know how much, it was like 60,000 or something. He invested it. He had a friend at work who was telling him all about stocks and who we should invest in. And so he invested it. But because we took it out and I guess it was considered as income, um, we got raised into a different tax bracket for that year. And it was like, I don't even know, $8,000 actually like in taxes that we had to pay.
uh-huh.
So I think he's got it down. But anyway, it's still like we still have to pay that. He's paying off of it. But I don't want that. I don't want that bill. That was his decision to move that. I mean, I was kind of like, okay, whatever, but it was his retirement, his investment, although I'm asking for half of both now.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Well, that was not wise because any financial advisor would tell you that that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine even though you won't have that in the future, it might be difficult to change that tax bracket. I don't
I
know.
don't know because he's not in it anymore. I don't
Okay.
think. I mean, he's not considered. I would think that would be just considered income for that year. I don't know.
But he's paying it. You don't have to worry about it. He's paying it.
He is, but I think I need to put that in the separation agreement,
That you don't want to.
right? I don't want to pay for that.
Right.
And there's like, and actually, I stumbled across, and the Lord did it, but I guess I stumbled across all of the credit card debt that we have. They were all. I, I had an email that said something like my address changed. I found his address finally,
Interesting.
and I wasn't looking for it. But it was an email that said your address has changed. And I was like, wait a minute, my address didn't change. I thought it was for me. And I just clicked on the link and I think I put in my credit card information for my Chase card. And then I got all of the layout of all the family debt and all the credit cards he has out. And it's a probably 20 something thousand that
But
he
those
has
are
out
his
in credit
debt.
cards. It's not like about 100.
Those are his.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they're his credit cards. They may be debt that he had from the house. Like we got new windows at one point. We got new furniture at one point, and I'm enjoying the windows and the furniture. But
Well, is your
I'm
name
gonna.
on the bill? Is your name
I
on?
don't. I don't think my name is on any of those.
I wonder why you got the email then. That's weird.
There is one credit card in that grouping that is the Chase card, which is my card, but I'm not sure how it works. But I think Michael has a version of that card too, which I don't know. I've changed everything he put me as administrator of that account because that was the card that we used for my author expenses. So
Uh,
that way, whenever taxes came, we knew, what I paid for my author stuff. But so that's the only way I think I could have gotten in there. I don't know how because I had changed all of my passwords, the password on that credit card, but I guess it just recognized me as a card that was allowed in there in that background,
Yeah,
back end information.
you definitely
Because
want
it was a Chase summary, but it must have been something Michael set up with all of our credit cards in there.
yeah, you definitely don't want your name on all of that debt that he's
Yeah,
incurring.
yeah. And that's what I said in the separation agreement.
Okay,
Um,
good.
I said that my name would be removed from, let me just call it up here real quick. It's not that long. I'll read it
From
to you and see what you think.
any of those credit card debt, any of those credit cards, your name should not be on it.
And I've said that in the agreement that if it is, it needs to be removed. Because somebody said that too, like if he passes away, then that debt is mine.
That's right. Or if he is negligent on it, you're responsible.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's him spending all this money, not you. So it's
hmm
his debt.
Yeah. So what I have is I'll just read it to you. This is my thought from my email to him. Hi, Michael, to fulfill your desire for divorce in February, my lawyer has requested we agree on a separation agreement. This lists out how we're going to handle the division of property and debts, spousal support, and child custody. I've come up with a list of my lawyer's direction. See attached. She is advising that it's most cost effective if we agree on these points before she draws up the agreement. If we can't agree, she will consult with your lawyer. Please look this over and let me know if you agree with it. If you wish to discuss it, we can do on a Teams call with Patty Wayman as mediator. That's my sister-in-law. All right, so number one is custody of Annabelle, age 16. Michael and Deborah have joint legal custody. Deborah has physical custody. Michael has free visitation. Spousal support, Michael pays Deborah $1,500 a month. This will cover food, gas, and bills Michael is currently paying, and all the bills Michael is currently paying. I don't know if I need to say that, but I thought for his sake, maybe I do. Then I itemized all those bills he's currently paying and kind of came up with an amount. Child support, Michael pays Deborah child support is calculated in the state of Virginia. Real estate, Deborah remains in the house until she desires to sell or refinance. At that point, Michael and Deborah split the equity minus the mortgage Deborah has paid on the house since the date of separation. And after all fees and necessary maintenance for the sale of the house are paid. So that's something that's new. I basically said that I'd be able to stay in the house as long as I want. I don't know if
Well,
he'll go for
it
that.
sounds like you're paying the mortgage anyway. Did you
I
always?
am.
You always
I'm
pay?
paying. I've always paid the mortgage. That's just how we separated our bills. When I had to be the sole person who the mortgage is under. I mean, obviously he could help pay it, but mortgage had to be taken out in my name
Uh-huh.
because he had co-signed so many loans with.
Oh, uh-oh. You're just getting a little glitchy. For some reason, you're getting a little glitchy. Now you're frozen. I have to get off and back on. Let me just message you. You're frozen. Okay. Oh, there you are. Can you hear me? You were frozen for a moment.
Better now?
Yeah,
Okay.
you froze. But anyway,
Oh,
and that's fine with you that you pay the mortgage since you live there, I'm assuming.
I mean, yeah, I don't
Did you ask your lawyer about that?
know. I
Right.
don't know.
You might ask her about that. I mean, that's our biggest bill every
But
month.
wouldn't like, oh yeah, but wouldn't the spousal support then see, since I'm paying for mortgage and I'm paying for Annabelle's tuition, right now he's paying for all the like bills, utilities, all the bills, and he's paying for gas for me. And also anything that comes up for Annabelle, like she's doing this school thing, she needs $50. I
Yeah.
say call your father, to ask your father to pay for that.
Well, again, that all of that I would think is a lawyer question. I don't think
Yeah.
you should be responsible to make that up. It feels to me that she would advise and say, you should do this. I mean, that's what you're paying her for, to give
Well,
you.
I feel like I don't have access to her. Whenever I met with her in the summer, I got a full account of what I should do. And then after that, I asked some follow-up questions, which she said was fine for me to do. She never responded to me.
Oh, no.
I, yeah, she wasn't, and then I asked her, I had additional question, like I said, when do you need the separation agreement by? You know, I'm not ready to talk to Michael yet. She did not respond to me for like 3 weeks. And then
Oh,
I kept trying to reach out to her legal assistant and she wouldn't respond to me. And then finally I called her legal assistant and she finally got the answer to me. But I
that's-
just don't feel like she's not the type of lawyer that I can say, hey, I'm doing this now and I need your help. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I've had several people say, that's not good. You should try a different lawyer. Well, I already gave her the $5,000 retainment fee, and which I can switch out, but I feel like at this point, I just kind of want to get it done.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think she should be responsible to at least answer email questions like this.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
given you an assignment that you need advice and help on.
yeah,
She has tons of experience with, and you have none.
right.
Because you could sit down and do the math and see what's even, but I would just think she has a general knowledge of what is
Mm-hmm,
the principal thing that you in your situation would ask,
mm-hmm,
as far as all
yeah,
those different figures.
yeah,
This is why I think it stresses you out, because that's a burden if you're not a math person in particular, to do the bookkeeping and accounting and figuring out, what's what, that may
mm-hmm,
be your future for years to come.
mm-hmm,
I mean,
right.
you need to explain it to her that she needs to get back to you with this help. I've already paid you this money. I need
Mm-hmm,
to have at least your assistant give me some advice on these decisions as I go forward. Be insistent. I mean, the only time that I've dealt with a lawyer was when mom passed because she had a trust and stuff, and some of it
mm-hmm,
went into probate, and it was awful. But I mean, she charged us, but that it's different. She didn't cost a certain amount up front. We paid her as we went. So if
mm,
we had questions and she answered them, she'd charge us for that hour. But to me, that was like, that's fine because I need
right,
an answer to this situation.
right, right. I wonder if a way that I could maybe get her attention is if I spent an hour with her, because and she took the hour money off of. Maybe that would work because I met with her this summer for an hour. It was the consulting fee. I
That's a
forget.
long time ago. It's 5 months
I
ago.
know. I know. Lisa, I feel like maybe I dropped the ball by not doing anything yet. I mean, I have it all ready. I'm nervous to send it because I'm like, well, what if, I miss something and then later on, like, oh, I wish I had added that.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
whatever would be the best way that she would like it. Like you could send the email. What you wrote sounded really good, and then have
yeah.
in a parentheses next to it in the email. This is a question I have. Should I continue to pay all of the mortgage, or should he pay part of that, or as part of the spousal agreement, a portion of that? Like I wouldn't know any of that, and
Yeah.
you don't, but she does.
Right.
And so is this a reasonable figure, or should we increase it this much because I'm paying for the tuition and for the mortgage?
Hmm.
Those are
Hmm.
sizable bills.
Yeah. I should call. I think I told you I've taken Thursday off
Uh-huh.
and I have a hair appointment, but then after that, I'm gonna just focus on this. So maybe I'll reach out to them. I'll reach out to her legal assistant. Maybe I'll first call her legal assistant to ask the best way to
Yes, that's what I would
get
do.
her attention because I don't want to just sit with an email. I need to get this in his hands soon. It's running
Yeah.
late.
Well, and
And I
just
don't
have a
know.
goal that my deadline is I want to do this in the very first of the year,
Mhm.
that this is when you're going to be sending it, but I have to have these questions answered first.
Do you think I should send it to him the first of the year instead of in December? You think I should send it to him now whenever I'm done?
I'm just thinking with the holidays, she may not get back to you. So you wouldn't want to send it to him until you have these questions answered.
Okay.
So getting the questions answered and even explaining that it's been frustrating that she's so difficult to reach when you've already paid her and hired her.
Mhm.
These are things that I'm sitting here trying to figure out that I need help with so that
Yeah.
so I can proceed.
Mhm.
It's been 5 months, put it
Mhm.
however you want to so that she's prodded a little bit to respond.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's waiting on me. It's not like now that I did finally get an answer from her, she's waiting on me to get the separation agreement that Michael and I agree on to her. That's what, so she's not, it's not like I'm waiting on her to communicate with me. I just
It
need
sounds
to,
like you need to answer these questions before you get it to him. That's what I
yeah,
would do.
yeah.
I just think you need to be strategic with that and not leave it in his hands. Like you said,
Yeah,
you agreed to this when, oh no, 2,000 more per month he should be paying. It could be
yeah, right.
if you're anything
Yeah.
like me, and that money and figures is like my weakest. So
Mhm.
and it just even for me stresses me out thinking about it for you. So
Mhm.
you just need to ask her and then say, put it, that's what I would do. I would send it to her in the email form with the parentheses question next to it before
Yeah.
before I send this to Michael. Is this a reasonable figure? What do you think about this? Uh,
Yeah.
Is the mortgage part of the spousal agreement or not? Make it very specific.
Yeah. Hmm.
So he's not doing any of this himself with his lawyer, or you don't know?
I have no idea.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely no idea. And I'm not gonna ask them.
Well,
I
you
don't even
have
know
the
if he
upper
has a lawyer.
hand. To me, you have the upper hand and get what you want if
Mhm.
he is going to be agreeable that you're making these decisions and he's
Mhm.
just going to sign it once you get it to him. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's why you want to, make sure it's generous for your sake.
Right. I think I'm I think what I'm afraid of is that he's gonna say, "No way," and then what do I do? I don't wanna go to court.
Well, come back
I
with
don't want this to last years.
yeah, he needs to come back with, a reasonable counter offer in that
Mhm.
case.
Mhm.
That's just what negotiation looks like.
Yeah.
So you don't have a read on his emotional state as far as being mean to you or being nice to you as far as all this stuff goes?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just kinda going back on whenever I asked him whenever I wanted to move out of the house, I emailed him and asked him to if he'd be willing to hand the deed over to me. The not the deed, yes, the deed.
Oh, I remember you
And
said no.
yeah, and he very quickly said, "No, absolutely not." He didn't say it like that, but he said, "No, I do not, I want 50-50." And then I asked in the email told him in the email that I was planning on selling some of the things in the home, and that, I think I asked again if I could have that money for Annabelle and me to have a new start, and he said, "No, he wants 50-50 of that. He wants to be involved in all sale of the house, all sale of everything." And that
Uh-huh.
was just like, who is this person? This is
Yeah.
not the husband who cared for me and took care of me and made sure that I was comfortable. This is somebody different. And so
Well,
I don't know if I'm going to run into that guy.
it
He
sounds
has
like
been,
it. I mean, all the more reason to be very um, adamant about these figures then, because if it sounds like he's not going to be very agreeable, you need to come with the most generous offer as you can for yourself going into it.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
if he says no and so forth, he'll have to come up with, well, what is reasonable to you.
right. Yeah. So I need to do that. It's making me anxious. I have a lot of other things that I'm juggling. I have an LLC that I had set up last year at this time thinking our marriage was going to be saved. So
Mhm.
I needed to set up an LLC anyway because I wanted to self-publish on Amazon and I had to have a bank account for that, and for a business bank account you need an LLC. So I set an LLC up, but I made it a multi-member LLC for both of us where we were going to publish books and possibly do films together. And then everything just fell apart in the past year. I've used the LLC, I've used the bank account to put my royalties in there, which is about $2,000. And um, I got the lawyer, I asked her about it. She said, just delete that LLC and start a new one, an individual LLC by yourself. That's the easiest way. So I was getting ready to self-publish and put some things on Amazon, and a friend of mine who self-publishes, I had some questions about the LLC. She said, wait a minute. She said, do not use that multi-member LLC for anything else. She said, you want to cut off all ties. If you use that on Amazon, number one, it can mess you up, because if you try to take it away later, it can mess you up. She said, also, every tax season, you're going to have to get him to sign. Plus, I didn't think about this, is it's a 50-50 LLC. So that means, yeah. So she said, go take 2 weeks, make your own LLC, delete that other one, and get your own EIN and get your new bank account. So that's something I've been focusing on too. And I'm about 3/4 of the way through that.
Well,
I
that's fine.
did close out my account. I was kind of scared because when I talked to the bank and told them what I wanted to do, they're like, well, when you shut down this account, 50-50 goes to each member because it's a 50-50 LLC. And I was like, but all that money is mine. And they were like, well, you need to discuss that with your lawyer. And I talked to my sister-in-law, who's an accountant. I talked to somebody else, who was like, just take the money out. It's your money. And
Yes,
just let him know that you closed the account and you're closing the LLC. That's all you have to do.
that
So
sounds
I
simple.
took the money out. They let me. They didn't say anything. I took it all out except for $5.
Good.
And then I haven't emailed him. I just don't want to communicate with him, Lisa. It hurts my heart even to see him when he drives up to bring Annabelle home. I
Mhm.
closed the blinds. And I don't want him to be, I don't want to communicate with him, but I have to. It just hurts me because I think for the past, since August, I've been kind of cocooning and pretending that he doesn't exist. And it's
Called
helped me
denial.
heal.
It's called denial. It's very
Well,
natural.
I'm not denying what's happened.
Uh-huh.
I'm not denying that he has abandoned me, and I am probably not going to be married very much longer to him. But it's just any thought of communicating with him makes me feel scared. Like, and I don't, like, it makes me feel scared that I'm going to get re-hurt really, really bad again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just preservation, but these are
Yeah,
things you're gonna have to deal with, and putting them off will just make it more stressful for
I
you.
know.
Sounds like you're proceeding
Yeah,
on though, since I've spoken to you. I think you should be encouraged that you're making a lot of progress. 3/4 of the way
yeah,
with the LLC. You've got
yeah.
the letter pretty much written up. You just have a couple questions about the money that
Mm-hmm,
hopefully she'll answer. If it's an email, maybe right away.
mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand how talking with them is difficult. But a lot of times, don't they just have you go through your lawyer so you don't have to directly talk?
Yeah, but I'll need to talk to him to set up, see if I can put this light on a little better. I'll need to talk to him. Is that annoying? To set up, to do the separation agreement though. I'll need to talk with him because that's, that's not what my lawyer wants us to agree first and then bring everything to her. So I would have to reach out to him. I mean, if he just wants to talk through email, but if we need to, like my sister-in-law said that she would act as a mediator if we need to communicate. I just hate that, Lisa. We were married for 30 years. The
Yeah,
father of all my children. Now I have to like avoid seeing him, and it hurts me to even see him drive up.
it's super weird. That's why, super weird.
So weird. So weird.
Well, what has the Lord been telling you about all of it?
Well, I had a really good couple of really good revelations. Our Breakthrough had a women's retreat,
Oh,
women's conference, and they had I forget the name now, kintsugi. Do you know what kintsugi is? It's the Japanese art with the
oh,
gold.
yeah. Hmm.
So they used that was the theme of it. It was restoration. And they had this one sort of art time in the conference where they gave us these little ceramic hearts.
Can I gotta get this because it's my car. Just let me get this real quick. he's just going to leave the keys with the sales department. So I've got time. That's good. Anyway,
Okay.
what's that last part you were saying?
Oh, so I was at a women's conference, and part of they had us do this little art project where they gave us ceramic hearts,
Mhm.
and we put them in a baggie, and they had us drop them to the ground, which was really, really hard for me. Audrey came, and it was really
Oh,
good for her
good.
too. But she was like, "Mom, drop the heart," and I can't drop the heart. You're like, "Drop the heart, Mom. It's time." So I dropped it. It broke, and we were supposed to like put it on the table and really. It's a time of reflection. They're like, "This is not a craft. This is the time of walking through something with the Lord."
Yeah.
So I first wanted to put my heart back together just as quick as I could. And then I was like, no, I'm supposed to look at the pieces.
Mm.
So that was really, really meaningful to me. And we glued it together with this gold powder and glue, and it was just beautiful. And then afterwards, they had us do some like inner healing prayer time. And I was just on my knees, and there was a part in the self inner healing prayer we walked through. They said, is there someone that you need to forgive? And the person I had needed to forgive was Jesus. And that was really hard for me because I was like, Lord, I think it's you that I need to forgive, because you told me all along, these 7 months that my marriage was going to be restored. And it isn't, unless you do something different than it seems like you're doing. And it was interesting because I got the impression that Jesus was just saying, okay, if you want to blame me for that, I'll take it, I'll take the blame, I'll take it. And then I thought, that's just the way Jesus is. He takes our sins, he takes everything that's not his fault, and he just takes it. And I got that impression that, like, you know what? This isn't your fault, is it? I'm trying to give you the blame, but it's not your fault. And so I forgave him.
Good.
And um and then he basically gave me a word and basically said, together we stood for this marriage. Together we fought for this marriage,
Yeah.
and together we watched it fall. And then he said, and now we stand here together. And so that meant a lot to me as well. It's part
Yeah.
of the whole healing journey.
Yeah.
I saw an image of my heart, and it was just this like roadkill. It was like this piece of meat that was just like mushy in the middle, and it had all these lines of pain throughout it. And so that was really, really good. And then there was another time a few weeks ago, I had gotten some new glasses. There were these ones, but they're the trifocals. And I couldn't see very well in long distance yet with them. They needed a little bit of adjusting. And I was going to go to Life Group, which is 15 minutes away, some strong highway driving. And I don't know, 20. And I was driving on the highway, and I realized I couldn't see the signs. And I'm like, Lord, I can't, everything was fuzzy. I can't. I'm like, no, just go. You'll be fine. I'm like, no, I cannot. So I just started crying. And then
Mm.
I started coming home, and I'm like screaming to the Lord. I just had this scream fest of like, why are you doing this to me? Why am I a good person? I have done nothing wrong. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you putting me through this? And then, I got to the driveway, and I was still screaming, and it was like kind of scared me a little bit because my heart started hurting like physically, like, oh boy, I better calm down. And then I just was screaming to the Lord that I missed my husband, I missed Michael. And then suddenly I got this incredible wash of calm over me.
Uh,
And I felt like suddenly I was like, I don't miss him. I don't miss who he is now. I miss who he
uh,
was,
yeah.
but I don't miss who he is now. And then I felt like the Lord said to me, will you walk with me? Will you walk with me? And I was like, you know what? I can't look back, and I can't, because I can't trust my husband. I can't trust whatever he's done to me, but I can trust the Father. I can trust Jesus, and I told him I will walk with you.
Mm. So good.
And and that just was a revelation to me. I was like, will you walk through this grief with me? And I will walk with you. So I think since then, I've been every time I get like caught up in the whole Michael thing in the past and I get weepy, try to stop and say, wait a minute, I will walk with you. And that calms me down because I'm just like,
That's so good.
I'm submitting it all to you, Jesus,
That's
this
so
path
good.
of what am I doing? I have no idea.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Good, Deborah.
yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at, what the Lord's been showing me is just submission. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. I'm trying to figure things out, like the Christmas tree stopped working. I had to do the whole Christmas tree with the girls this year and figure out Michael's very much it has to go this way, it has to be this way. And I'm just like, whatever, So Annabelle's like, it has to be this way. So we were strapping white lights around the inside trunk, up and down the inside trunk. And then we had to do colored lights. Well, 4 of the strands of colored lights were broken.
Oh,
Weren't working. So we had to go to Walmart and I didn't know, but we bought the LED colored lights, which are ugly. We brought them home. They're like Crayola crayon colors. Annabelle's like, we are not putting these on the tree. I was like, I agree. So we took them back the next day, got the right colors, put the whole tree together. Annabelle and I are enjoying the lights. All of a sudden, all the lights go out.
oh
I have
no.
no idea why.
Oh,
So my therapist and a couple people at work were telling me I didn't realize in Christmas tree lights there's fuses in the thing. They're showing me how to do that. I figured it out. My therapist showed me. I had made a diagram and I took pictures of it. And I removed the fuses last night. The girls were over ready to put the ornaments on. I removed the fuses, put fresh fuses in, plugged it in, and it worked.
hooray. You did
So
it.
yeah, just things like that. I'm just learning. Like my registration, I'm running. I didn't realize it's December, but I have the stickers. So I have to go put them on the car. But I'll have to do that tomorrow. But there's just so many things,
Yeah.
The lady I co-write with asked me to co-write an Amish devotional with her. So I started that too.
That's good.
So which, 4 months ago I wouldn't have even been able to even
Yeah.
think of doing something as big as that. So
That's incredible.
it's it's a lot. And this Christmas I'm responsible for buying all the gifts, so and my parents sent me enough money for it all, but I'm, getting the links. We always ask the kids, you have this budget, send me
Yeah.
the links. So that's all me. So I'm a little bit overwhelmed, I think, with everything, but I'm
Who
just trying to focus
is
one thing.
everybody gonna come?
Keenan can't, but Josiah is coming and Shane will be here for just for Christmas, I think, and the day after.
That'll
The
be
girls will
nice.
be here. Yeah. So it'll be different. I don't know. Christmas Day, we usually normal Torres Christmas Day is we open presents, have a big brunch. Audrey goes over to Gabe's family's house, her boyfriend's family's house for lunch and their Christmas thing, and then we go watch a movie and then go eat Indian food. So I'm not communicating with Michael, so I don't know what he wants to do that day. Not with me, but do you want the kids part of the day? I don't know. We're opening presents over, in the morning and we're having a brunch.
Uh-huh.
I don't care if he wants to take them to the movies and do Indian. I don't know what I'll do. I'll go walk around the lake or something. I don't care. I
Well,
do
you don't
care,
have
but
to always defer to him. Maybe just do what you want to do with them.
yeah.
You're only seeing your sons 2 days. I think I would be wanting their emotional support for you right now. I would be wanting to see him as much as possible.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
again, the standards that you want to set and go to are ones that you should set, not that he set.
Hmm. Yeah.
Things like that. I mean, you're being kind.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, Audrey's boyfriend's family invited us over for their lunch. So
That's
after
good.
all that, and I'm going to invite the boy. I asked the boys to come. They said yes. I don't know if they'll come, but I said yes. So
That's
I'll go at least with Annabelle and
yeah,
we'll go have lunch over there. And then I don't know after that.
yeah.
But yeah, I
Well, the
don't
Lord will
know.
be with you and give you
Mhm.
peace and just grace for whatever it is that's decided.
Mhm.
You know, it's something that we're always growing. We're always trying to have just an increase of the Lord's in our dependence and in our
Mhm.
relying upon Him and His directing us and His leading
Mhm.
us. And as I get older, I'm just learning to do that better and more. I just have such a peace as a result. Just
Yeah.
asking Him, should I do this? I
Mhm.
would have done it before because of obligation or whatever. No, you don't need to. Don't do it. Like, okay,
Mhm.
thanks for letting me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I do that partially because I don't know, Tim is very different than Michael in that he just basically says, do whatever you want, you know. So that's fine. And I like being independent, but
Mhm.
I get the Lord's input about everything.
Mhm.
And that's what you're learning to do too. And you can
Yeah.
grow in that. You're doing well at growing at that in that with all of
Mhm.
these things that you have to
Mhm.
decide upon.
Yeah.
And there is
I think
freedom. There is
one
freedom.
thing, yeah. One thing I did want to just talk with you, and I've talked with you about this before, but in divorce care, they talked about remarriage last week, and they were very clear on the biblical grounds for divorce.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking to my therapist about this yesterday, but I feel like I'm sort of in the middle. Like Michael, I think is still walking with the Lord. I mean, I know he's doing things um that are not in step with that. And I don't think he's committed physical adultery. So legalistically, I don't know that I qualify for biblical grounds for divorce. Um,
You mean
but it's
remarriage.
not,
You mean remarriage.
huh? And remarriage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said divorce, but you mean remarriage.
Well, the biblical grounds for divorce even are, if he commits adultery and if or the unbeliever leaves you and you release them.
Well, this is what's happened.
Yeah.
He left
But
you.
I mean, but is he an unbeliever? I don't think he is, Lisa. I know he's
No.
acting
He's
like,
breaking the covenant that he made
yeah,
with God, which is
yeah,
doing what a non-Christian would do. So in
yeah,
my book, he's walking as a non-believer.
yeah.
And as far as the remarriage, I think you just have to wait and see what he does. I would not be at all surprised if he moves on having a relationship with someone as soon as he's divorced,
Yeah,
in which case he's unfaithful
right.
and then you're free. But I wouldn't get too anxious to pursue that yet. I mean, talking with somebody's one thing, but I wouldn't, if I were you, I wouldn't date until the divorce is final, personally.
Yeah,
We're talking two
yeah.
months. You certainly would want 2 months of talking with someone before you get anywhere near serious about it, I would think.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I let him know where I am in the stage of everything too. And I told him at this point I can only be friends, and he said that's where it needs to start anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Accurate.
yeah.
But as far as remarriage and so forth, the Lord will probably have that for you. I would not be surprised since it's your heart's desire to be with a
Hmm.
Christian man. But I
Hmm.
think it would be wise to wait to see what he does so that it is something that you know that you're completely before the Lord accountable in the spiritual sense of the word for for
But
how it
what if he never does anything? Like, what if he never remarries? What if he never?
um I don't know that it's definitely remarriage. It's if he has sex with somebody.
But I
And
can't call him and say, "Have you had sex with somebody?"
I know, but I think the girls are gonna know. I think you're gonna know if he starts a relationship. If there's any hint of anybody, which there has been before even all of this happened, there's going to
Hmm.
be after he's divorced, in my mind.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
just think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's talking with somebody now, honestly.
Hmm.
I mean, if you watch a movie or anything, that is what hardens their heart even more
Hmm.
because it's being pleasured by somebody else's attention or words or encouragement or whatever that just makes a person do what he's done faster and
Hmm.
moving on.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he's already emotionally. involved with somebody,
Mhm.
which is in my book, I mean, you can have an emotional affairs. It's
Mhm.
unfaithfulness also.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I told you, but he had an emotional affair when I was pregnant with Shane,
Mhm.
and that was a romantic affair.
Uh-huh.
He said he never had sex with her, but I don't know. I believed him,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah. Well,
kept
he's
calling me
definitely
anyway.
showing his true colors now with the way he's treated you this last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Well, I want to pray for you. I want the Lord
Okay.
to come in and encourage. And
Mhm.
Lord, I just want to start by saying thank you that you have been so faithful to Deborah and she's been so faithful
Mhm.
to you. I thank you, God, that you've been talking to her about the
Mhm.
fact that you will bear this burden with her. You'll take it, even if she's having a hard time and being angry with you, but that
Mhm.
she's been able to forgive you and that you've said
Mhm.
to her, I will walk through this with you, that you aren't alone,
Mhm.
that I'm with
Mhm.
you, and that I think he also wants you to know that you haven't done anything wrong. You're not
Mhm.
responsible before the Lord. You're free to just know that
Mhm.
you're guiltless, you're sinless,
Mhm.
you're not in any way the one who brought this on. And I just
Mhm.
speak against that lie because I could see how that would be a temptation of the enemy
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
accuse Deborah. So we just nail to the cross the spirit
Mhm.
of false responsibility, of uh, false guilt and, and
Okay.
remorse for
Mhm.
this divorce that's coming, uh,
Mhm.
seems to be going forward, Lord. And we just pray that
Mhm.
she would see that this is what she needs to do as you walk her through it because of his decisions, his
Mhm.
initiation. He has even
Mhm.
said, I am initiating this divorce. He
Mhm.
initiated it by leaving.
Mhm.
Even before he physically left, I see that he
Mhm.
left Deborah emotionally and spiritually and has not been a husband to
Mhm.
her. And I
Mhm.
just nail to the cross the spirit of fear as well. We break all agreement with it,
Mhm.
known or unknown. And we ask that you would take it away from Deborah, that she would not fear Michael's wrath or
Yes, God.
hurting her in any way, that you
Mhm.
will protect her, that you will be between
Mhm.
her and him, that you will defend
Thank
her
you.
and help her to have a buffet
Mhm.
and just a wall around her heart
Mhm.
that's not going to be broken anymore. I just
Thank
declare
you.
over you, Deborah, that he can't break your heart anymore. He can't
Mhm.
damage you anymore. That
Mhm.
the enemy can't accuse you or attack
Mhm.
you or torment you
Mhm.
on any level any longer, and that you are
Mhm.
free from him and from his
Mhm.
wrath, from his anger, from his um, hurtful ways that he's done in the past. He's already abandoned you.
Mhm.
He's already
Mhm.
neglected you. He's already completely walked
Mhm.
away from you. And I just
Mhm.
love that image that the heart was broken and it just cannot be broken anymore. The heart
Mhm.
that was broken, you mended with the beautiful gold that
Mhm.
makes it better
Mhm.
than it was before it was actually even
Mhm.
broken. But that it's not
Mhm.
going to be broken anymore, that you will protect it,
Mhm.
Lord, and that she
Mhm.
can go forward. And I pray for favor with this lawyer,
Mhm.
that she
Yes,
would
Lord.
respond, or the
Thank
assistant,
you,
to
Jesus.
answer these
Mhm.
questions even on Thursday. That
Mhm.
she set
Mhm.
aside time for this to get
Mhm.
checked off her list so it can be sent to
Mhm.
Michael, and that it
Mhm.
cannot be looming over even during the holidays, but that you
Thank
can
you,
make it
Lord.
a quick sort of
Mhm.
process,
Mhm.
that he agrees and knows that he's responsible, that he's
Yes,
the guilty
Lord.
party, that he has left
Mhm.
and not been
Mhm.
faithful to his wife, and so he needs to
Mhm.
bear the bulk of the responsibility financially because of the emotional damage, the
Mhm.
suffering, and the torment and the
Mhm.
neglect and abandonment that he's
Mhm.
taken Deborah through. You can't put a price
Mhm.
tag on that, that
Yes,
he
Lord.
needs to pay and be
Mhm.
taking care of Annabelle as well, his own
Mhm.
daughter, who is still young.
Mhm.
So I just
Thank
pray for encouragement to be blown into
you.
Deborah's
Mhm.
sails right now, that
Mhm.
you would help her to feel your nearness like never before.
Mhm.
That every
Mhm.
decision she's praying in the
Mhm.
spirit, and you're leading her, you're
Mhm.
directing her, and you're giving her the answers of everything she
Mhm.
needs to do, from fixing
Mhm.
lights on the tree to what gifts need to
Mhm.
be bought and what Christmas
Mhm.
Day is going to look like, that it would be filled with peace because
Mhm.
Jesus, you are the Prince of Peace, and you
Mhm.
say that your government and your peace is ever increasing from glory
Mhm.
to glory. So would
Mhm.
that be the experience for Deborah and for the kids?
Mhm.
despite the situation that's going on and what their father and husband's done. Lord, you are the father, you are the husband, you are the lover of Deborah's soul, and that you can even reveal yourself to the kids like never before in the midst of these circumstances, Lord, so that it'll be a nice holiday, a peaceful one, a wonderful time of just enjoying one another's relationships, and for them to really come around Deborah and support her during this time as this divorce is going forward at Christmas. So I just bless Deborah tonight. I bless her spirit, man, to be dominant over her emotions, her body. I thank you for her clarity and for the way that you've grown her up through this, that you've strengthened her, that she's had so many breakthroughs of you speaking to her and blowing her up, and that I just see a different person on the phone tonight as compared to when we first started talking. As she was falling apart at the Heidi Baker thing, that is not her situation, that Lord, you are the one who gets all the glory for the strength and the encouragement and the help that you have provided and that you will continue to provide for her. In Jesus' name. Thank you.
Thank you, God. Thank you. Father, I just pray that you'd help me with just all the things, God, that I feel are coming at me right now, just with
Thank you,
Christmas responsibilities, Lord, and the LLC responsibilities, and this devotional responsibilities, and this separation agreement, Lord. Help me to prioritize and just to be able to spend time on these things, Lord. Give me grace, Father, to know what to put at the very top. And yeah, God, I just pray that the conversation, however it is done with him regarding the separation agreement, would be smooth and easy, God. And I pray that it wouldn't be a big deal. And I pray along with Lisa that my lawyer would be attentive to me, Father, and that I would be able to maybe even reach out to the legal assistant and set something up, even a phone call with her or whatever, just to go through some things before I bring them to Michael, Lord. I just ask you for help with that. I really don't want to switch lawyers at this point, God. So I pray that you would show me, and that she would be, even as if I'm her only client, Lord, she would really care for me and reach out to me, God. And I ask you, Lord, that that this would be smooth, Father. If we're to divorce, Lord, it would be smooth. It wouldn't have to go to the courts. That Michael would accept his financial responsibility for me, for Annabelle, and for our home, and he would just give what he needs to give, Lord God, financially for that, Lord.
Lord,
thank you, Father.
Lord, I just hear the word advocate again. That was the first word that we looked at with the Bible study that the Holy Spirit is called. And in French, lawyer is an avocat. It's the same word. It's one who represents and fights for you and defends you. And that's who he is. Even, as you pray for this woman, that God would talk to her as the one who represents you legally, that he would just urge her to be more responsive and to help you in ways that I feel like she should be, responsible, that she's not been doing. And that ultimately, that God is defending you. I'm glad we got this time in. Thank you for reminding me. I'm glad it worked out. And we're going to meet for the Bible study on Zoom again earlier because of the holidays. It's going to be the 14th, so next Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, because then we're getting into, right before Christmas.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, let's see. No, we could do the 21st. Actually, we could do the 21st, 3 weeks from 2 weeks from now. Yeah. The next week is Christmas. I hadn't really looked at that, but yeah, I'll be getting an email out soon.
That sounds good.
All right, my friend.
Thanks,
You seem very peaceful.
All right. I will keep you updated. I'll try to
Yes.
focus on those things soon.
Yes. Just check those things off your list. You'll feel better.
Yeah. That's
All
true.
right.
Okay.
Have a good evening. I love you. Bye.
You too. Bye.